Hi, boys and girls. I am here in Estonia with
Mr. Michael.
Oh my goodness! And we thought it would be so much fun to do a read aloud here in Estonia so you guys can see it at home over winter break because we miss you guys so much, but we know you're having so much fun on break, and we'll see you in the new year. So today we're going to read Horton Hears a Who. Have you ever read this book?
It's a great book.
It is a great book. And do you want to tell them what we saw in the Estonian bookstore yesterday?
Horton Hears a Who, but in Estonia?
Yes, we did. Alright, this is Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. You know, hold it. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked towards the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton. But who are you? Where? He looked and he looked. He could see nothing there, but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. I say, murmured Horton, I've never tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of a creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. You may turn the page. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person no matter how small. Aww. A person's person no matter how tall, too. So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air, and he lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Come on the picture. Humph, humphed a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, humph, too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been. Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's 2, even 3, even 4. Quite likely a family, for all that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. You're doing a good job. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Newell, and the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Though the high jungle treetops the news quickly spread, he talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with the speck on that flower, and Horton walked, worrying almost an hour. Should I put the speck down, Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may get to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't. After all, a person's a person. No matter
how small.
Oh, you're so smart. You do know this book. Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint that he could barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton, and he put his ear near it. My friend, came a voice, you're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folks on this dust speck no end. You've saved all our horses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores. You mean, Horton gasped, you have buildings there too? Oh, yes, piped the voice, we most certainly do. I know, called the voice, I'm too small to be seen, but I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you, they seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are thankful and grateful for you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, you're safe now. Don't worry, I won't let you down. But just as he spoke, to the mayor of the speck, 3 big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickersham brothers came shouting, "What rot! That elephant's talking to who's who are not. There aren't any who's, and they don't have a mayor, and we're going to stop all this nonsense, so there." It's not very nice of them, is it?
Not at all.
No. They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to the black-bottomed eagle named Vladikoff, a mighty strong eagle of very swift wing, and they said, "Will you kindly get rid of this thing?" And before the poor elephant could even speak, the eagle flew off with a flower in his beak. All that late afternoon and far into the night, the black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged, "Please don't harm all my little folks, who have much right to live as us bigger folks do." But far, far beyond, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called back, "Quit your yapping. I'll fly the night through. I'm a bird, I don't mind, and I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find." And at 6:56 the next morning he did. It sure was a terrible place that he hid. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. "Find that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail," and he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. What would you do? How would you find the speck of dust in that giant field of clovers?
I wouldn't.
You just give up? "I'll find it," cried Horton. "I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust." And clover by clover by clover with care, he picked and he searched, and he called, "Are you there?" But clover by clover by clover he found that the one that he sought for was just not around. And by noon poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. A lot of clovers.
More than 9,000 before.
I know, one more than that. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last on their 3,000,000th flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, do tell, are you safe, are you sound, are you whole, are you well?" From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor. "We've really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks have all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chair smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew when we crashed. So Horton, please," pleaded the voice of the mayor, "will you stick by us who's while we are making repairs?" "Of course," Horton answered, "of course I will stick. I'll stick by you small folks through thin and through thick." Dr. Seuss is always very wordy.
Very.
Yeah, I feel like I have a bunch of words in my mouth. It's hard to get them out. "Humph," humphed a voice. "For almost 2 days you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carrying-ons in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state," snapped the big kangaroo, "that your silly, nonsensical game is all through." And the kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too." With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws who helped, I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for your dust bag, that we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of bezel-nut oil." "Boil it?" gasped Horton. "Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons, and I'll prove it to you." "Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor," Horton called, "Mr. Mayor, I've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out, make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in bezel-nut stew." And down on the dust speck, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in the Town Square. And his people cried loudly, they cried out in fear, "We are here, we are here, we are here, we are here." The elephant smiled. "That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that as well." "All I heard," snapped the big kangaroo, "was the breeze and a faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small noises, and you didn't either." The young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me neither." "Grab him," they shouted, and cage the big dope. Lasso his mouth with 10 miles of rope. Tie knots so tight he'll never shake loose. Then dunk that speck in the bezel-nut juice." Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call, To the mayor, don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard. So come on now and try. The mayor grabbed a tom-tom. He started to smack it. And all over Whoville, they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles. They beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops, and on old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots and clarinets, oompas and boompas and flutes. Did you ever play any instruments?
I played the recorder.
The recorder. Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky. And the mayor called up through the howling, mad hullabaloo, "Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?" And Horton called back, "I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't strong quite as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is everyone shirking?" Through the town rushed the mayor from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing their best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping, and everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping. But that wasn't enough, all this ruckus and roar. They had to find someone to make more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through the door, and that mayor discovered one shrieker, quite hidden away in the Fairfax apartment 12J. A very small shrieker named Jojo, who was just standing, bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp. And the mayor rushed inside, and he grabbed that young twerp. And he climbed with the lad up to the Elfelberg Tower. "This," cried the mayor, "is your town's darkest hour. The time for all who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country," he said. "We've got to make noise in greater amounts, so open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts." Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and shouted out, "Yawp!" And that yawp, that one small yawp, put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on that clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. "Do you see what I mean? They prove they are persons, no matter how small, and their whole world was saved by the smallest of all." How true," said the big kangaroo. "And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too. From the sun in the summer, from the rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how smallish." That was a really good book.
Great one.
So we've been talking a lot about author's message. Do you know what the author's message is, Mr. Michael?
No matter how small you are, you take it.
So the author's message is what the author wants you to learn from the story. So what do you think Dr. Seuss wanted us to learn? That a person? Oh my goodness, boys and girls. So that a person's a person no matter how small. Thank you. So we should all treat people equally and fairly, no matter what they look like or if they're different from us, right? You ready to say goodbye? Can you teach us one more Estonian word before we leave?
Thank you. I'll do goodbye. That is... people say bye over here, they'll say ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye, boys and girls.
Bye.